Hello, welcome everyone back. My name is Biscuit, and I will be your caster for it today. Next to me is Captain Jack. Hello, Jack. How are you doing?
Hello, Biscuit. I am back from the future, but I can't tell you about it until we get through this match. It's going to be an absolute banger. We got Pachisuba versus Goblin Goobers in the C tier tonight. I am so excited to see how this matchup is going to play out.
Yeah, and just like we were talking about the other day, we're already in playoffs. So moving into, for example, our bracket, whoever loses this game is going to be out, fully out. No more games, no more second chances. Pachisuba sadly having a very unfortunate loss against Elvish Soul Knife. We're kind of the underdog going into that match. And up against Goblin Goobers, who lost their first match in playoffs, not in play-ins. That's very important to remember. But yeah, whoever loses is completely out. And let's see the rosters that are either going to prevail or sadly be knocked out, because I know a couple of these names. I'm pretty familiar with a bunch of these people. Regardless, Pachisuba, Goblin Goobers, C-League, because we were talking about, there's going to be only one game tonight. The other one is off stream, so maybe go check if someone is streaming if you want to check that one out. But yeah, this is what we're going to be watching today.
That sounds amazing. So let's go ahead and take a look at our rosters. I know some of y'all probably know, but if you're new here, let's take a look-see here for Pachisuba. We got Ani, Andrew, Taken Wallet, Palm Ku, Fun Jin, Bowsy64, and Tim Week coming in for Pachisuba. Looking at their record right now, they've been sitting at a cool 3-2 during the regular season. Ended up beating Goblin Goobers 2-1 during the kickoff. So we're back once again with another revenge arc for the Goblin Goobers.
Goblin Goobers, talking about them, we have Element, Skin, Tyla, Kyria, Punk Space, Upriser, and Alacrity on that roster. To be completely fair, I am not super familiar with the Goblin Goobers roster. Pachisuba has a bunch of names, right? You can even see the logos like on a bunch of the teams that they play for. Bouncy, known caster, great caster. Tim Wick does a lot of graphics for BPL, has been in the community for a while. Andrew, Taken Wallet, Pomku, all of these people that you're seeing in Pachisuba, super known names to me, but hopefully Goblin Goobers can give us a little bit of a show and surprise us tonight with what they're bringing to the table. But we have to go a little bit fast. And the vans are already locked in. Goblin Goobers already locked in Lijiang as the map. We gotta remember, it's gonna be Control, Hybrid, Push, Flashpoint, and Escort as our modes. And Hero vans are also locked in both for Pachisuba and for Goblin Goobers.
Yeah, and looking kind of at their record previously, Control is looking like it should go to Pachisuba. Both teams have a very decent record on Lijiang Tower, so it's going to be interesting to see kind of how that shakes out. It might be kind of like a round-per-round thing. Which map they get first will determine kind of what the momentum is going to look like there. In terms of bans, we got Pachisuba coming out with the Mauga ban. Very interesting to start things off. Goblin Goobers opting for the Reaper. So looking to do either, we're looking to see either a poke battle or we're looking for a full-on dive getting ready to come in here on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised about the Mauga ban. Was pretty common, except during C-League in particular. Reaper, of course, super popular DPS right now, able to turn through a lot of comps, especially if they're not organized, right? Lots of damage incoming, a character that is super safe. Just a good pick overall, and I don't think any of these bans are particularly driven to like one player or like one comp they're gonna play, right? Lijiang Tower kind of lends itself to either dive, a little bit of poke, a little bit of rush. We could see basically any comp, but moving on into our later maps, we might see a couple of differences, right? We had, for example, Numbani on the table yesterday after a brawl kind of mirror. So we might see a little bit of dive, a little bit of rush, but right now, can't really secure anything. And just as a reminder, again, whoever loses today is going to be knocked out of the bracket. So lots of things are on the table, and that's stake here.
Yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see kind of how everything shakes out. Looking back on the bracket, we do see that things have gone in a very interesting direction for some of these teams. Pachisuba was actually part of play-ins at the very beginning, was able to take down Knights of Irvan 3-1, but unfortunately getting taken down by Elvish Soul Knife, which has forced the match that we're seeing here. Goblin Goobers not having luck against Chosen. Very close match though, 3-2 going in the way of Chosen. And I feel like we're going to see a very similar matchup here as we are preparing to head into Lijiang Tower. If you look at the records of these teams, I know that they're not really able to pick from the map pool during the regular season, but if you look at their records, it's very kind of dicey after we get past control. Some teams are going to be a little bit stronger on certain game modes than others, so it's going to be really about where that momentum starts, who is going to take Lijiang Tower, and if they're going to be able to flip it going forward. So we're getting a little bit of note from production here that we're going to have Bunny subbing in for Teebs. So we'll see them when they get to come into play as the match goes on. But I think this is going to be a banger. I'm saying it right now on the record. This is going all the way. And I would know because I came from the future. So
I'm excited to see
this
it
happen
come
in real time, not just the results. See it in real time. I got bits on this, man.
I would love to see it. And again, big shout out to production. You can see it right there on top left, our observers for the day. You may see us, you may hear us the whole time, and you may see the players, but there's a lot of people that make these beautiful games happen and show up on stream. So thank them for all their hard work. Look at Symmetra coming over the TP. Yeah, we're probably not gonna lock it in. She's a very good hero, especially into these comps, but I'm not too surprised that the swap is gonna happen. Pomku on the Ram mirror. Pomku known to swap to Hog, so you might see that an instant pick Teebs goes down in the beginning of the fight.
A beautiful start there from Alacrity as we're seeing the push in coming from Ponku. Love that they're coming in with the sweeper Ram skin, about to clean up the competition. But right now, Goblin Goobers, they're getting ready to get full control of the map. The picks are coming in, Element and Tyla able to find two as we see Pomku pulling back. Without the numbers, they're not going to get it, and the Goobers are going to lock down Night Market for the start.
Losing your Kiriko that early kind of really hurts you, right? Because a lot of these fights are like, I'm poking my tank and I need to keep sustaining it because a lot of these fights go long. So the second that you lose your actual source of healing, which Lucio is not, it's gonna hurt you a lot. And the fight is already breaking out. Punch and beautiful pick onto Element to start off a fight.
All right, as we go ahead and see Skin kind of here on the flank, trying to dash in, was able to get in. Team able to get the pick on Alacrity once again. This Kiriko on Kiriko violence, very interesting for the start. Recall coming in as Ani looking to finish off Sky if at all possible, and the pick coming in for Pachisuba finds the 3K, and at the 42% mark, the point flips.
Swinging back and forward, 5% sticking for the set of Pachisuba. I really want to notice that, this is what you were saying, right? It's all kind of Kiriko on Kiriko. You gotta be careful of the kunais. Any headshot flying through is almost always gonna result in a kill. Pomku, very ahead of ult here. And if you're Goblin Goobers, you don't really have anything to deal with it. The cross is so dangerous.
Ooh, big pick coming in with the Vortex. Finds the second. Third coming down. Alacrity not being allowed to get violenced once again by the Kiriko of teams. And that's going to be a cleanup once again as we see the percentage getting ready to pass that of the Goblin Goobers.
No, I'm not gonna lie, Goblin Goobers seems a little bit desperate to try and get out of this like little door in market, and you cannot do that, especially into taking wallet on Freya, right? You're gonna take a bunch of bolts. Even one bolt is enough to kind of give Pomku enough of a chance, and they don't even let me finish speaking. Annie taking down Upriser, you really good pulse bomb, and they don't even have beat yet. I think they're gonna be stuck here for a while, Jack.
I got to be completely honest, that's a good position for them to be in, right? Getting that early pick means that, oh, never mind. They're going to push in with it. The respawn immediately using the Kitsune Rush to be able to double up. The pick comes in onto Funshin, not able to get that beat off in time. As we see Pomku again possibly taken down here if they're not careful, able to get the Nemesis form online, is going to be able to survive, but no, the kunai comes in and the point flips at the 75% mark.
Expensive win for Goblin Goobers, spending 3 of their biggest ults. Well, other than Bola, right, which is pretty cheap. But Pachisuba also lost a lot, other than the beat, which I guess they have it ready for annihilation, but Goblin Goobers has all the momentum on their side, or that's what I would say if Element didn't get shot.
Yeah, media pick on the Element, taken in the back line, able to get the pick onto Upriser as well. It's a 3v5 fight as they're looking to hold on, but there it is, the pick onto Skin, and that's going to clean it up. The Annihilation coming out, but you probably should have held on to that for the retake. At the 75 mark, Pachisuba takes it back.
Yeah, you're gonna have to learn to respect taking wall, and I'm not gonna lie, they're not missing these shots, and the second that a vault is on your head, I don't think there's anything you can do about it other than cry and go back to spawn if you're Upriser, right? We still have the beat, which could be coming in handy, but oh my god, the pulse also hits them.
That was a close one, as we see the rush coming in. Sound Barrier coming in, trying to give them the sustain to be able to touch the objective over time. Now ticking away as Goblin Goobers have full control of the objective, just trying to get Pomku off of it as quick as possible, trying to take the mop out of hands at the 5v1 right now. The rest of the team trying to do everything to keep Pomku alive. Teams able to get Alacrity again. 3 picks for the Kiriko, but the point flips once again as we head into final fight territory.
Yeah, and the worst part is they're missing Thieves, right? No more Kiriko. The TP is gonna happen, so they're gonna come back together. 10, but 10% is not enough to get like a really comfortable touch in, right? You're gonna either have to have Annie completely rush the point, and if you're Goblin Goobers, you have to play up close and not let them touch for free. But it kind of seems like Pomkus is forcing their way in. Annihilation ready in right now.
There we go. The Annihilation coming out, looking for the momentum. Skin on the flank, trying to see if they can get the pick on their fellow Tracer rather. Upriser able to get the finishing blow. Element with the follow-up on to take in Violence against their own. Alacrity able to get the cleanup on Fungin, and Goblin Goobers losing momentum a little bit is able to lock it down to get the first point here on Night Market.
Yeah, Pachisuba losing the first 2 fights, if I'm not mistaken, kind of puts momentum too much on their side. Really well played by Pachisuba, though. Like, a lot of those fights were very hard for Goblin Goobers to even win, even though they had ults, right? Like, we could see them trying to cross into the actual point and then just getting shot by taking a wallet, right? You're not covering these angles. You're not taking care of, like, the bolts and the spammy gameplay that Frey is able to offer, and you get punished for it, right? So, I like that what Pachisuba was doing. At the end, you lose a fight because they have beat, right? And beat is just kind of like a fight winner almost instantly, it would seem. But the hardest part is just, yeah, you have touch, you have Annihilation, but Pomku has to run in so quickly, they don't even have enough time to set it up. They end up dying, but 99 to 99. Moving to control into control room. I don't even know who's the better team just yet, Jack. They seem very head to head.
Yeah, I feel like this is, well, I mean, I know, being from the future, that this is going to be a close match. So if anything changes, I apologize. I must have changed something when I came back. An early pick there from Element on to Taken Wallet. But the point right now is being held by Goblin Goobers is actually in a very interesting position, trying to push up onto the high ground, pulled back for the pick. As we see the Nemesis form now coming out for Pomku, looking to see if they can get that squishy pick. Finds Element, finds Upriser, but we see the turrets there from Skin, just a little too much for them to hold on to. The percentage is climbing for Pachisuba, but they got to get this Ramadra off the point. The cleanup is going to be quick if they are careful about it. There it is, and that stagger is going to be deadly.
I've always said it, the worst kind of loss that you can take, Jack, is one where the point wasn't yours that entire time and the fight went so long. 33% in the name of Pachisuba. Goblin Goobers doesn't even have that much ult to show for it, and the point is almost already halfway, right? The worst kind of fight you can have. If you're losing like that, you just have to die, everyone leave point, reset, and take a real fight, because this one was not winnable. TP coming out. This match is going to be part of Goblin Goobers lineup, and I really like it. Really good at these battle of attrition that are super long in the Ramasha mirror.
Yeah, and that early pick is going to be working out well for them. Fungin down means that the speed's not going to be there, not going to have that AoE. But we see the take aim coming out, looking to get that bola shot off, but the damage just not there to take everybody out. Annihilation being unleashed by Pomku, trying to do everything to hold it together, as now the Annihilation match from Tyla, all they have is a Kitsune rush, their whole team down. Fungin able to get back in the fight and keep them alive. It looks like we're requesting a pause from the side of Pachisuba, though. So we're going to see what's going on there. We're gonna wait and see what's going on there. But at 75% right now, we're heading into what could be a final fight territory for Pachisuba, tying up the series right now 1-1.
Someone on blue team, I think it's Pachisuba, got a call. So we're gonna have to pause it, guys. Put it on pause. We're chilling, take the call. Maybe it's important, maybe not. Maybe just for funsies. Someone's calling to check them in, give them some coaching. But moving into this pause, Pachisuba did invest the Annihilation, which is a big thing, right? It's one of the bigger ultimates in the match. It's a mirror, of course. But Tyler doing it back, I am really not for that. I think you gotta notice, Pomco already killed 3 of my teammates. Like, it's not even close. Like, even if I think everyone would have to like stand in a line, in a perfect line, and get punched like a monster to win that fight. That's not gonna happen. So coming back, I really think Goblin Goobers doesn't have much of a chance. They almost have wall, Symmetra wall, which can be very disorienting for a lot of teams, but I don't know if it's gonna be enough.
I mean, it's not going to be much against the Ramatra mirror. Like, they're just going to punch at each other through the wall. So that's really the only issue they have to worry about, other than just making sure they're on opposite sides of the wall of where they're being shot. But it is interesting to see. I could see him using the Annihilation if they had control of the point, right? I could see fighting back with the Annihilation, holding space. You know, that's the unique thing about control, is that when you have control of the point, even if you are on the point by yourself defending it, every tick, every percentage point gives you a little bit extra time to be able to get back to the objective, to be able to get back that control and win the game that much faster. They didn't have control of the point. That's the big thing here. I would have absolutely been behind Tyler using Annihilation to be able to sustain if they had control, earn that percentage. But they didn't. They just staggered themselves, and now we're paused. That's going to throw a whole nother wrench into this mix. But I do want to make a comment on the chat, looking at Punk Space Cowboy. Is it insider trading if I bet on my own team? Well, if I was on your team and I told you what the results were from the future, then yes. I don't know if you've seen Back to the Future 2. That's kind of the whole premise. He takes the almanac from the future, takes it back to his past self, makes a whole bunch of money, and it screws everything up. But I'm not telling you what's going to happen, just that it's going to be a 5-banger. So you bet. We'll see how it goes.
If you're on the team, the only moral thing to do is to bet on your team, right? So
I mean, I would hope you would, right?
Yeah, that's all I gotta say. If we're not voting for our own team or betting on our own team, I think it's just a little bit weird, guys. It's very weird. I am excited to see just what the comeback is from Goblin Goobers. Again, just from the way things are set up right now, I really don't believe that they can win, but it can surprise me. 50% ticking, and again, this is not even the end of the map if they were to lose here, so not everything is at risk. 10% and a very uncomfortable rush to the point if you're Goblin Goobers.
Yep, all they have to do is get in there. We're seeing the Sojourn now come out from Element. I missed on that a little bit earlier. Kitsune Rush being unleashed, as well as the barrier to split the point in half. A lot of punches coming through. Ani and Pomku able to find the picks. Alacrity takes Pomku out of the fight, so that barrier is going to be doing a lot more of the heavy lifting. Upriser investing the sound barrier as Overtime is trying to take away. Teams, though, able to take Upriser right out of the sky, and once again, Tyler, the only one remaining, tying up the series 1-1 here on Control Center.
Yeah, not even to point fingers at anyone, but I really think that losing your Annihilation like that, it's just not. Yeah. It just can't help you. Like it's so bad to invest in a fight that there was no way for you to win. I'm sure Tyler even knows themselves. But again, moving into last point, not the worst thing in the world to lose second map. So going into this one to Garden, if I'm not mistaken. We will have to just kind of chill out and adapt a little bit. I kind of want to see the Symmetra more from Goblin Goobers, because I really think that in a Ramatra mirror, it's one of the more valuable picks. Like, always burns, usually always at range because they're always brawling and being so close to the enemy team, to the enemy front line. So hopefully Goblin Goobers gives it to us. The Freya locked in, and the Pharah coming in for Goblin Goobers. I don't think Pachisuba really has an answer to this on their comp right now.
Yeah, we'll see definitely how that goes. I mean, using the map to your advantage, trying to see if you can pop those environmental kills, is definitely a position that they're kind of wanting to be in at this moment. So far, nobody really taking objective presence yet, but it looks like Goblin Goobers have got the space, and they're going to be able to trade control. I didn't see really a pick come in for either side. It just looks like that Pharah is giving them a little bit of difficulty to get their positioning.
Yeah, and the thing about Pharah, right, is that you really need an answer for it. Taking Wallet already opening up with a pick onto Upriser, and they're not even giving us time to yap. Like, they're already going at each other.
Yeah, it was really just a patience thing. As I said, nobody really got a pick on that initial fight, so they were just kind of biding their time. They wanted to look for that opening, waiting for cooldowns, probably waiting for the Pharah to be kind of out of the sky without jump jet or their fuel to give them half a second to push in, and it worked out flawlessly. 12% and climbing right now for Pachisuba as they hold control of the objective.
And again, Pachisuba just looking so good, like, with momentum, right? It feels kind of like they don't really have an answer. Their plan being kind of just, hey, we're gonna play Pharah, and hopefully they don't know how to counter it, right? Moving into this fight, the White Room looking super contested. Goblin Goobers standing their ground, but dropping so low. Tyla cannot go in.
Yeah, Tyler now being pushed by Pomku's Annihilation, falling incredibly low. Has to pull back, and the Annihilation now down as we see Skin able to get the initial pick taken down by Pomku, but the rest of the Goblin Goobers are there. They might be able to push in on it with Bunjin down. That's not going to be a lot of help to be able to keep him in the fight as we see the Nemesis form come out once again. Can't withstand it. Upriser giving a little bit of payback with the double kill as they take it at the 55.
Yeah, really good fight for Goblin Goobers. And if I have to mention anything about it in particular, is that their ultimates are looking so good to keep, like, the flow of the game going, right? Keeping momentum on their side, and that's exactly what you want. Oh my god, Uprising doesn't need a kunai to assassinate teams.
Teams is getting a little bit of getting a little bit of payback for all the times teams took out Alacrity during the first map for sure. But as we see a beautiful take aim coming in there, almost able to get that final shot off and take Element out of the fight would put them in good standing as we're now at the 55. Goblin Goobers taking the lead as we see Pomku trying to push in, but Super takes him out of the fight. Element able to follow up on take-in, and it looks like they might be able to hold on to this. The point has been flipped over, though, at the 66, but Goblin Goobers quick to bring it back into, maybe not. Skin gets the boot onto Bunjin. Follow up on the team's no support on the objective. 75% Skin is in the sky and ruling the ground from above, and that's going to be the point to Goblin Goobers.
Good job for taking Wallet by taking off Upriser, right? In particular, one of the most important things here is going to be the sound barrier. How do we use it? How are we going to almost guarantee? Again, we've been talking about this. How sound barrier is kind of able to win you fights super freely. 80% and ticking. This is probably going to be last fight moving into this territory. Taking Wallet has Bola, and do we have anything for the Bola?
We do have sound barrier for the Bola. We'll see how sound barrier is going to be used early. So if they are able to find the momentum, there it is. Bola shot comes in the sea, sustain from the Susan, keeps it in place. Skin and Element though able to find the double kill on the DPS. Annihilation coming in now for Pomku, doing everything they can to sustain. Element looking to get the pick, but it's not going to be enough in overtime. We will see Pachisuba take the point back, but no, Skin is on the objective, able to take Bunjin out, and they're able to flip it in the final moments. Heading to map 3, overtime once again.
And it's so interesting that they're going so close in all of these fights. And I feel like Goblin Goober should have won that, particularly with how many ults they had, right? Either way, 90% of ticking, no real ults, and taking Wallet now on the Soldier. Gonna give them a lot of range, gonna give them a lot of folk, particularly into Tyla, who is gonna be one of the more important targets to look at during this fight. Lots of folk coming into white, and overtime is on.
As we see the Kitsune Rush now coming out from Alacrity, looking for the follow-up. The Barrage comes out, but the Gravitic Sun brings them to the ground, allowing Pomku to take them out. But the Goobers, they're not done yet. It's 3v4, sorry, 2v4 now as the Goobers take control of the point once again. They are gobbling up the objective, gobbling up those points, and gobbling up a dub for our time here on Lijiang Tower.
And I'm not gonna lie, it was hard to tell who could have even won that map. 99 to 99 in basically everything other than control room, which was very much dominated by Pachisuba. I will give them that, but Goblin Goobers able to get the best out of them. And I wanna give some credit where credit's due. Skin was such a big factor, right, during that game. Like, just them being on Pharah and getting a lot of these starter picks, which you were saying, right, just ruling the skies from ruling the ground from above and doing so well. No real checks coming in from Pachisuba's part. They weren't able to do much about it, and I think that's going to be a factor moving into the next couple of maps. How do we deal with the possible Pharah pick if we're not, ready for it, right?
Yeah, apologies, folks. It looks like my
Oh, all good.
No apologies for that. I'll get my camera back in here in just a moment, but yeah, there was no way to tell how that was going to go. I gotta be honest, I think the sound barrier investment early on, knowing that things like the barrage were coming up, probably wasn't the best play. But honestly, even just looking at where everyone was on the map, they were just so scattered. They were just so all over the place, and those 1v1 fights were just becoming so impossible to predict how it was going to play out. Goblin Goobers have had kind of a back and forth track record on Lijiang Tower, as well as Pachisuba, and at the end of the day, it just worked out for the Goblins this time.
I think just looking at how the game was kind of playing out, I really think that we gotta do a little bit of better use when it comes to our ultimates, right? A lot of them were invested in just such weird ways, and I hate to mention it again. It's just in particular moving into control room, losing your annihilation, which in the mirror is like the most important thing to play around. Your beat is gonna go around it, your rush is gonna go around it, and then you invest it in such a bad way, and then you lose it. They were able to win the map, but I think those are little mistakes that we really have to start kind of like tackling on, right? Like, hey, recognizing this fight is over, we lost, there's no way that we can win it. But let's just move on to the next one. Everyone, die on point, be a little bit faster, and then do a little bit of those adjustments. Even though you won, it wasn't necessarily one-sided, right? Both teams looked very, very solid going into that one. And now we're moving into hybrid with the map pick, if I'm not mistaken, being up to Goblin Goobers or Pachisuba.
No, should be up to Pachisuba being the losers of that match. So it'll be interesting to see where they end up taking us. We can go obviously to Kings Row, always in the pool. Midtown, Neon Junction, or Numbani are on the table. So
Kings Row.
Yeah, I can't say that I'm surprised. I'm also not going to be surprised if we don't see Ramatra here, because Mauga's back in the rotation. So with both bands off the table, we're going to see the Symmetra band coming in from Pachisuba. And now we're going to see what Goblins do to respond to that. To be completely honest, the Zarya.
Okay.
I
being completely honest, I really like the Symmetra band. I just think it's it just feels in a lot of these mirrors, she's not always dying first, and she gets like even a little bit of value. She kind of feels like she's the only reason you died, especially on tank. So I really don't mind it, particularly in the Brawl matchup, especially in King's Row with lots of spots where you can just go over hotel, right? You can just put it on top of the little door and then we're already in. Or you can put it on top of statue if you get for some cheeky plays. Either way, Symmetra, really good band from Pachisuba, recognizing that they were playing it or showing it, representing that option on the side of Goblin Goobers. And the Zarya ban, again, I think it's just a general one. Honestly, I don't even think they were interested, because if they wanted to play Zarya, they would have played her in Lijiang. So this might just be to get it off the way.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say kind of how things are going. I mean, we all know that that tradition says that we should be seeing a Ryan v Ryan to start things off, but that doesn't always work out. But now with Mauga back in the mix, I am interested to see how the Zarya ban impacts that. Are we going to be seeing a Mauga mirror? Are we going to be seeing some kind of investment in sustainability, like maybe a Mauga versus Orisa. Like I don't know what to say. That early Mauga pick I feel was very important, and especially with both teams being as good on Ramatra as they were, I'm interested to see kind of how that shifts going into King's Row. We're going to see some substitutes coming in. Andrew for Ani and Punk Space, our betting person in the chat, coming in for Alacrity. So if they bet on this one, hopefully they're betting on themselves as they're looking to possibly carry this match forward. Looking at the setup, though, not seeing a lot of mirror except for one. Well, it's two, actually.
I like the May mirror. I think we've seen a lot of teams, particularly in C League and the B League, kind of only one of the teams plays May, whereas I think that it should be a more default pick, right? It puts so much pressure on the tank to position super correctly. And like, even if you do a good play, if it gets cut off correctly by taking wallet or right element here, it's going to be a really, really big factor, especially with taking wallet on the defense. Holding this chokehold is key to even try and defend first point. 3 minutes, 50. Goblin Goobers up 1, so not the end of the world for Pachisuba, but you need to make some corrections before you're eliminated off the bracket. Taking wallet, already investing the wall, it's out, and Goblin Goobers just taking so much space. Hotel is not being contested by anyone, and I think that could be a really good place to go to if you're Goblin Goobers.
Yeah, that rotation definitely can work out well for them. We could just be seeing some investment into the high ground as well. Little old LA Glads strategy here on King's Row. As we see, Skin is in the back line looking to see if they can get that finalization pick. As we see Pomku trying to hold the line here up front, falling incredibly low is Tyla, but just they cannot invest enough, just too much coming out from Element to be able to keep them in, or to be able to keep that fight pushing forward. Element having to pull back as we see Skin reinvesting into the objective, falling low, looking for a way to get back to the team as both tanks are now down out of the fight. Punk's facing Upriser saying, okay, well, if our DPS are killing people, they're going to do it. Go ahead and locking it down right now and starting that percentage climb here on the objective.
I gotta give credit to Skin, right? Putting so much pressure on that backline. Look what they were doing. They're not quite able to fully confirm the win, though. The point is sticking. Taking all, it tries to go in. Andrew, with a good pick onto upright, so very important the Kitsune to try and hold the point.
A very interesting play there from Goblin Goobers. Very typically, you don't see the investment back into the objective. Maybe they really thought that they had it going into there, but I don't think they were calculating just how much power the Goobers had to push in. So Pachisuba gonna go back to the drawing board as they look to see, with 4 ults on the table, how they can change things up.
Unfortunately, we're not able to recontest, but I honestly don't hate it, right? Punk Space has to invest the Kitsune to even try and hold on to a point that should have already been guaranteed for the side of Goblin Goobers. So Pachisuba, you have a little bit of a silver lining after that loss, which was not the best. Wall already out for taking wallet. This means that Tyler's able to go in whenever, and the big blade coming out.
Beautiful use of the Suzu to try to keep things going. Blade not really going to find a whole lot of purchase there. Maywall coming out from Taken, trying to see if they can find some solidity there as the Blizzard comes out. The Annihilation still... as long as the Annihilation is going to keep pulling that damage out, as we see now Pomku trying to do everything they can to sustain, using the Annihilation now to hold the line. Another Maywall allows Taken to take Tyla out of the fight, and the payload is stopped right outside the board.
Yeah, and this is one of the harder places to try and get it out of. This little corner. The second point is not the easiest in King's Row. We've been playing this map for forever, and teams have been trying to crack the code for a while. Taking wallet with that shot, you're gonna secure your spot here for a little bit longer. 3 minutes and ticking. I really like what Upriser did, trying to keep Tyler safe during taking Wallet's Blizzard, which is a very important ult. The second that it's out and someone is frozen, it's almost a guaranteed pick, Jack. But Goblin Goobers swapping onto the Echo, I don't know if I really like it. I feel like the May puts a lot more pressure onto the tank, which in my opinion is the key to this matchup going bad for the side of Goblin Goobers. And Element taking a couple of shots, the Bola going wide.
Well, I gotta be honest, I don't think the goal is to take the tank out of the fight right now. I think they're struggling. As we saw, Skin kept diving into the backline and just was not finding the purchase they were looking for. As we see Andrew coming out with the overclock, not able to find purchase on eliminations there either. As we now see the Nemesis form coming out, Upriser able to get the chakra kill onto Andrew as they're looking to push their way in. Goblin Goobers have the momentum. All they have to do is keep pushing forward as we see the Nemesis out once again. Pomku doing everything they can to just eat and eat and eat that damage, but the Goblin Goobers, they have created the space and they are holding it.
Honestly, it's really interesting that they were able to break out without having to invest that much. The beat, aggro beat coming out, Pomku with a vengeance coming back to the point.
As we see the annihilation coming out for Tyler, Pomku able to find pump space. That beat, I did not think it was gonna find the value it was looking for with Taken having the Blizzard online, but they were able to get those picks so quickly that it was just enough for them to hold on. Unfortunately, just not enough, as Pachisuba able to recontest and go ahead and bring it down.
Yeah, I like that. Fungin no longer has anything big that they really want to beat for, other than the annihilation. But honestly, just coming back with a beat, nothing that you can do if you're Goblin Goobers. You no longer have the Blizzard to try and just stop them and like zone off the point and make it dangerous for Pomku to walk back in. So they just walk in, punch, I have a million HP, you're not killing me, right? Upriser has the Sanctuary playing on the side angle with Skin looking back at them, making sure that they're ready to push alongside them, and the copy is ready. Tyler taking so much damage though.
Yeah, very early on, we see Skin opting for the May pick, looking to see if they can get another Blizzard as we see the Annihilation coming out. We do see Skin getting really close. Can they throw it in time? No! Before they're able to get there, the Blizzard actually did get out in time, but they were already clear of it. Upriser able to push in, go ahead and get those eliminations. The Sanctuary holds strong for Kenke as they are able to push in to Objective Bravo with 30 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, no way for Pachisuba to try and come back from this loss right here. 20 seconds. They don't get a touch at all. Yeah, but moving into this, a minute and 40, not the biggest time bank, particularly when Pachisuba is coming up on a lot of ults, Jack. What do we do about the Blizzard? We no longer have Sanctuary. We don't have beat. We don't have anything other than potentially Punk Space cleansing you, but that's if you can even live long enough for the cleanse to even matter, right? Andrew looking for the off angle. Does the overclock find the target here? Hopefully 91% and ticking 99. Andrew gotta make a play here.
Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to what those major perks picked. If teams picked the Suzu that provides the momentum speed when utilized, that's going to help them get out of that Blizzard a little bit faster without necessarily relying on Fujin. As we see, the freeze coming out from Taken Wallet. We know what major perk they picked there as the Blizzard is unleashed. They're able to pull out just in time. No picks, but the space has been retaken by Pachisuba, but Skin able to get the pick on the bunch and not going to have that AoE, not going to have that speed. Able to get the trade onto Upriser as we see Tyler pushing in deadly positioning right now as both Annihilations just eating at one another right now as we see the healing orbs coming into those nanites, providing every type of sustainability that they can for Tyler and Pomku to be able to hold on. Skin on the high ground, 20 seconds remaining right now, and there it is. Pomku finally down, able to teleport out quickly as Punk Space, and we're heading into last fight territory with 10 seconds on the clock.
No, Pomku's right. That was just like looking at each other, staring us dead in the eyes, blocking. We know that we're not getting off this point until someone dies. Lots of ults incoming, and most importantly, the beat. You have to survive the beat engage because Punch is gonna pop it right here, most likely. Yes, go into this backline and find the trades.
As we see, opting for the Kiriko duplicate of Skin. Let's see if they can get those picks and coming out with the rush, looking for those follow-ups. Try desperately to take Element out of this fight. It just is not able to find the elimination. Element able to take out Taken Wallet. Tyla does fall. Goblin Goobers struggling right now to hold this point together as Upriser is holding it on their backs right now, trying to hold space, keep that momentum going. But with the spawn being right there, Pachisuba are going to be able to contest quickly. Pump Space just barely able to teleport in. Taken Wallet comes out. Boom, 2 icicles right into the dome, and that locks it down. 67.75 meters here on point 3 of King's Row.
I feel like I gotta highlight the fight that happened before they were able to break through that first chokehold. I love that Goblin Goobers throws a Kitsune Rush, and Pachisuba does not even wait to see if it's real, right? Because, yes, you're investing in ult, you're kind of declaring your intention of wanting to go in, but it's so good that Goblin Goobers is like, hey, we're gonna throw out the rush, and this is for sure gonna pop something back, right? And they got rid of Blizzard, they got rid of Overclock. Literally, 0 things are stopping them other than a potential beat from Funjin, which he doesn't have, from taking the point. And that's what they do. Beautiful fight from Goblin Goobers going into that one. I think at the end, you kind of run out of gas. You don't have a lot of ultimates anymore. A Soch Overclock, you don't really have a way to sustain it other than maybe playing inside Kekai Sanctuary. But it's not going to happen. You no longer have it, and really good from Pachisuba holding. The issue now, can you break through defense? And it seems like they're putting all the money into the Maga pick, which I don't hate, particularly into Ramacha, right? Other than the barrier, no other way to absorb the consistent fire, the consistent crits, the consistent healing. And I think Goblin Goober is going to be taken aback by surprise. 10 seconds and ticking. Although Pachisuba had a really good performance on defense, Jack, I don't really, again, they're so close in every point that they're playing. So let's see if they're able to repeat that same success on the attack.
I'm excited to see it happen. Giving a little shout out here to Teku Get Jen saying most exciting Ram gameplay. And you know what?
Ooh.
It is exciting because that's what tanks do, right? Tanks are not about going in and getting the kills. It's about making space and trusting your DPS and supports to do their jobs too, so that you can make that space happen. As we see Pomku coming in with the Mauga, able to get the kill onto Skin. And we see also Teeps was initially coming out on the Ana, but does end up swapping over to the Kiriko instead for those cleanses. I would have loved to have seen the Ana, and we might see that swap again. But Pachisuba is going to go ahead and lock down that objective. 5:40 on the clock right now as Tyla is on fire and not in the good way, as they are just trying to retreat. Sorry, as quickly as possible. Skin just barely able to get over that wall and take Pomku out of the fight.
One of the things that we were talking about earlier, right, during the attack of the opposite team, was just that Hotel was really not being looked at. What? And the fact that they were able to just kind of walk into Hotel, right? Like Pomku is just like, hey, my name is Maga. I'm gonna swing in with my 1,000,000 HP. I'm gonna set you on fire, and I'm gonna make you pay for not checking Hotel and not making sure that the place is safe for you to play in. So really good job right there. Good recognition on what the angle is looking like. But that is, again, just first point, which tends to go pretty fast in most King's Row matches, right? So can you do the same on the second point? The answer seems to be yes so far.
Upriser trying to be cheeky, but Pomku, like many tank players, has started knowing wherever that flag lies, that is where we are going to see Mizuki return to. Taken, able to finish off Element, and that point is moving furiously forward. We haven't even gotten to the 4-minute mark, and we might be getting Objective Bravo.
Yeah, I'm thinking that Pachisuba might be a little bit upset about losing. We gotta remember, I think Andrew was being replaced by a different person. So now that they're back
Andrew
on their full roster,
Ani.
yeah, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so maybe it's just like a thing where like we're a little bit more confident with Andrew, particularly on this map. The Blizzard coming out, but point already belongs to Pachisuba. You don't even really need to ult, right?
Yeah, I mean, doing it just to be able to create some space and pressure is doing great. With Tyla out of the fight, there's really nothing that they can do with that. But Tyla giving up the Annihilation to swap over to Mauga for the mirror. I think it's a little late, but fingers crossed.
I don't really blame them for trying to play it out. Skin already copying, and this fight is just very important for Goblin Goobers. Can you even stop them here? Because if you're not able to, I don't think there will be another chance ever for you to do so.
No, I don't think. As we see the cage fight coming out, the Maugas pointed at one another, and it looks like Goblin Goobers will hold strong with the Sanctuary intact. It is 3v4 right now on the objective as we see Taken. Wait, they just gave up the fight.
Well, I mean, it's not looking good at all. I'm not gonna lie. Goblin Goobers, although they were able to hold on, there's still a lot of time, Jack. There's not a lot you can do here.
I totally agree. I was just a little surprised. Like, it was still a relatively even fight. Like, Tyler was the only tank on the field, but even so, like a little bit of sustain, I think, would have done them well. I don't know. Maybe if they would have gotten an early pick, it worked out, but they opted for regroup with the team, come at it once again. The Blizzard's getting ready to come online, and if they can get it well, then that's all they need.
You gotta cut your losses, honestly. And taking any sort of loss is not something that you can do if you're on the side of Goblin Goobers, right? With so much time on the clock, you need to take very quick wins, and finding that first pick is not what you like to see.
No, Pumku and teams able to go ahead and follow up on those eliminations, and Pachisuba go ahead and lock it down in a Winter Wonderland explosion. 1-1 as they take Kings Row, tying up our series.
Yeah, looking really good. I like what Pachisuba was able to do. I think the adaptation with the Maga in particular caught Goblin Goobers so by surprise, Jack. They weren't able to adapt. And honestly, the answer might have been just to play the mirror from the very beginning, right? As much as I hate to say it, I think a lot of people really don't like to see Maga play, especially after the incident with the release date of Maga. But still,
the incident. I have ever heard of Mauga's release being called the incident, but I'm sure
that's what we call the incident. Now I'm the one having issues with my stuff.
No worries, we're just gonna trade off all night. So
yeah. you can be the PNG.
So you don't get overwhelmed by the beauty that is both of us together. We got you to get in, but that now we want to dial it back a little bit. But I gotta say, I was a little surprised. Like, of course we're in C League, right? There's no guarantee that necessarily going counters is going to be able to provide the sustain. But with as quickly as Pachisuba got first point, you either got a mirror or you got a pivot. Like, one of the two. That was the option there. They held on to that for 2 fights on going from first point to second point, and still no swaps until the first fight of point 3, when we saw Tyler taken out in the Blizzard. It doesn't mean you have to match the Mauga, but something needed to change long before then, and we just were not seeing it. So Biscuit, any other data before we go ahead and throw it to a quick break to go ahead and bring the temperature down just a little bit?
Honestly, I think that is going to be a very exciting match. Again, every fight, every point kind of seems to be going the distance. So if you're a fan of both of these teams, you got to notice something, and it's that they really want to stay alive. They really want to claim it all in these grand finals to happen in a couple of weeks. But for now, we're going to go into a break. Go stretch a little bit. Go maybe call the players on the teams like we had earlier. Give them a little bit of advice. BPL Season 8 will be coming back to you in just a couple of minutes. Hello, welcome everyone again. My name is Biscuit. I'm here joined by Captain Jack, and we're coming back to Pachisuba versus Goblin Goobers. As we saw earlier, a very interesting match that we had earlier, right? A lot of if you've been watching, you might just notice that this match is super neck to neck. Both teams really close to each other in terms of skill, and we might have to be going a little bit fast because the map is already picked and the vans are already locked in. We're going to Runasapi, picked by Goblin Goobers.
Yeah, a real quick recap for those of you that are just now joining us. We saw Goblin Goobers and Pachisuba take it on Lijiang Tower. Goblin Goobers ended up taking it 2-1. Both Night Market and Garden were very neck and neck. Control Center very locked down by Pachisuba. We're able to kind of take control of the space inside, but Goblin Goobers being able to bring it back on Gardens, we're able to take that finalization. And as we see picks and bans now as we come into Runasapi, we see the ban from Goblin Goobers taking away the Lucio versus the Freya from Pachisuba. So we were kind of talking about this during the break, is that one of the things that I was kind of, I wouldn't say upset about, but more so irked, is Goblin Goobers investing Sound Barrier to get into fights instead of investing Sound Barrier in fights. Because Pachisuba was doing a really great job of being able to sustain and wait out the duration of that sound barrier and then be able to get picks after that. Goblin Goobers just were not able to do the damage needed to be able to get the picks while the sound barrier was active, and it essentially just made it useless because using speed plus sound barrier, now you have nothing to prevent damage and you have nothing to get yourself out of damage either. But with the Freya pick being also taken out, we're not going to be seeing a lot of damage, at least from a very high rate pick character right now that we're seeing over in the Asia region. It is very high pick rate for high level Freya play and very high ban rate in that matter. So I'm interested to see kind of how this shakes out in terms of not having that damage on the table. And now we also know that Pachisuba can't ban the Mauga again, so we're probably going to see that from Goblin Goobers. So how are we going to counter that if we don't have our heavy damage dealer on the table? Are we going to continue to pick that Echo even though we have the hit scans that have been going relatively well for Goblin Goobers? Or are we going to find some kind of rotation to be able to take that Mauga down?
Yeah, in particular, I'm a little bit surprised about the Freya ban because I feel like both teams. I don't think I could have been like, oh, this player in particular has been like the star of the show on Freya, right? Taken Wallet, perhaps a little bit of a highlight for me when it comes to Freya, which is most interesting because they are on Pachisuba, so I would expect the ban not to come from them regardless. We're moving into Runasapi. Saying it again, we're 1-1, and whoever loses will be out of the tournament, out of the season. Sad to see players go all the time, but still, that's the game that we play. And moving into Runasapi, I really don't know what it's gonna look like because Maga is no longer banned, Saria is no longer banned. Mizuki's still on the table. I'm very surprised that the Mizuki ban hasn't come through. I really expected the Mizuki ban to happen eventually, but it didn't. So either way, moving into Runasapi, it seems like Tyler hovering the Saria Palm Coot doing the same. Very, very exciting. 15 seconds and ticking. Do not trust everything. I'm not expecting Element on Junkrat, but I think it would be interesting if Pachisuba rolls out on Shion Reaper. That would be very interesting. Also, no TP. That's bad etiquette for DPS. Very bad etiquette.
Yeah, Upriser has been absolutely carrying on Mizuki lately. So I realized when I was speaking earlier, I did have things a little bit backwards. Pachisuba really opting for the Mauga against Goblin Goobers. My apologies, folks. But as we see now, get to see a little Shion gameplay for those of you that may not know. Shion, new hero to Season 3 of Overwatch?
Oh my
Not
god.
one, but new Overwatch, I guess. As we see Ani able to take Tyler out of the fight, and the bite in the face of Skin as they try to retreat, and there it goes. Get that bot moving.
Yeah, I like what we're seeing here. Pachisuba playing so aggressive, and one of the things with Xion is that the bite does an insane amount of damage. Like, and I think it's been nerfed, by the way. Just you could not be taking that hit straight on because you're just gonna blow up. Element taking a little bit of an off angle, moving into the 33 meters. That is such a big advantage just for winning your first fight. And if momentum is already a thing, imagine in push. Whenever Goblin Goobers wins, they basically have to win another fight to even go back to neutral or to advantage. Tyler burning one bubble, another one available, but no more. Element taking a couple of angles and check by taking Wallet perfectly.
Not paying attention, taking Wallet, finds the double kill, and right now, Pachisuba, they're taking that momentum, and they are running with it. As we see, Skin swapping over now to the Genji, able to get the double elimination there with the help of Pomku, finds the triple.
Oh my God.
Pomku is just rolling them down. The Bunny Zarya Skin, those ears are up, and they are blowing them down.
Skin didn't really like the straight right there. Lots of ult coming in from the side of Pachisuba. Goblin Goobers only really having the blades, which is gonna be hard to get a lot of value with, especially if Pomku is able to shield their teammates. Most importantly, they have a lot of energy left over from last fight, so you're coming in at a disadvantage if you're Tyler. Hopefully, Pomku doesn't die here, taking lots of damage, and he burning Wraith form, and it's a little bit of a standstill at point.
Tyler going incredibly low as the blade comes out, looking for that momentum. Skin trying to find purpose on somebody, anybody, but Taken comes out with the cross stitch, able to find the double kill. And that's a cleanup there. Pomku finalizing it up, and we're heading into what could be final fight territory.
I really want to be negative, but how do you even win this fight into a grab that you have no answer for? Upriser not able to really have the Sanctuary, which would be your only saving grace. Annie has a Blossom, the rush is ready. Sanctuary almost ready on Pachisuba. This should be almost a guaranteed win. Pomku, you have to land something big, and Annie from the top rope!
Upriser getting taken down once again. The Graviton Surge in the middle of the Kenke Sanctuary. Going to allow them to keep pushing forward. They might have just enough time with that early pick on the Upriser to be able to touch and possibly sustain Element, just not able to get out of that backline. Goblin Goobers are just here nomming up space. Graviton Surge utilized by Tyler, but it's just not enough. There's not enough damage to sustain, and Pachisuba, they were rested, ready to go, and they said, we're gonna run it right down the middle.
I mean, they didn't even stop. I don't think they were ever stopped, other than the checkpoint, which you have to stop at. Pachisuba completely unstoppable. Like, it's amazing how they were able to just kind of give them... It's all about, we said in the beginning, right? It's about momentum. And talking about momentum, it's like, hey, you lose first fight. And in the other games, like, okay, we have to go back to point. But when you cap it, right? The thing is, in push, even if you cap the bot, it's going to have to go back. And it's going to have to go through all the territory that you lost. And then you start gaining territory, right? Pachisuba, 3 ults ready. By the end, you have nothing. The saving grace will be like Pomku committed what's it called, the grab, and then you also have Sanctuary, which is a little bit of an overcommit in my opinion. But even then, you don't have ults. You have nothing to contest them with. Another big stagger. By the time that you have grab, you have 0 energy. And Jack, I really don't see how they would have won that. Pachisuba, they heard us saying that it was really close, and now it's not even close. It was such a speed run of a map.
Yeah, and I gotta be honest, looking back on the stats, it kind of reflects that way. Push is Goblin Goobers, like, worst game mode. Like, if you look at the records, they are 1-4 in wins. Now 1-5 after today. But they struggle at push maps. And it seems that Pachisuba did take advantage of that. But the game's not over yet. I believe we're heading into Flashpoint next, and that's the golden goose for Goobers. Goobers got that on lock. They love themselves some Flashpoint. So I'm interested to see how they utilize Flashpoint to kind of regain that momentum. And I don't want to say that this is the case in terms of the Goobers, that maybe they just kind of let it lie on Runastapi. you know, just like,
Yeah.
we're not gonna win this. We know we suck at this mode. Let's just, you know, we'll try, quote unquote, and then we'll get to Flashpoint and we'll tie up the series. You know, it could have been that way. I don't know for certain. I'm not on the team, but it was incredibly one-sided. But as you see here on Flashpoint, you know, 3-0 for Suravasa for Goobers, 2-1 for Pachisuba. New Junk City, a little bit more luck. For the Goobers, having at least a win over 2 losses for Pachisuba. So I don't know. Do you take it to Suravasa in hopes that you're able to win it out, even though you know that your opponent has more knowledge of the map? Or do you take it to a map that you've only won once in the whole system, but you know that that Pachisuba has struggled with?
I think I don't know. I actually don't know what would be the preference, right? Because even though you have a very good record on Suravasa, I don't think you really want to take them to Suravasa, right? Especially if they have a worse record on New Junk City. Either way, it also depends a lot on bans, on the characters that are available to them. I feel like the Zarya might be coming out again, and I'm not gonna lie. I think when it came to like Tyla versus Pomku was just far and away the better Zarya on that map. And you no longer have the ban, so it might be a little bit scary going in. It might be worth banning the Mizuki. The Mizuki definitely a threat in a lot of these fights. And honestly, from there, I don't know what you can really do. I don't want to imply that Goblin Goobers are completely lost, but that map really seemed like a misstep. Like it was just not even close. It's kind of crazy.
But again, like I said, it may have been a calculated misstep, right? They knew they were not going to do well on that based on previous. So like it, and this is what I talked to folks about for a while when I was back casting and doing production full time, is that you never know how teams are going to feel in the moment, right?
Yeah.
If they know they're going to do bad on something, as long as they take it on the chin, knowing what's coming next, they're great. If the mental gets shot, that's where you lose it, right? So I'm hoping that this isn't Pachisuba taking advantage, running them over, and killing their mentals so that even their best map mode they're going to fail at. I hope this is Goblin Goobers saying, we know how this is going to end. We're gonna play it, but we know that we can pick it up going into the next one. So as we see, Suravasa has been picked. So now we're just waiting for the bans. The speed's back on the table with the Lucio, the high damage back on the table with Freya, and especially on Flashpoint, you're looking for speed, you're looking for a high level damage very, very quickly. So it's all about how that momentum is going to be. Ooh. And Goober's going with the early ban on Xion.
Yeah, and we got to remember, right? The first fight on push, you can chalk it up to whatever you want to chalk it up to. Maybe they were in there too quickly. Maybe they just waste their bubbles a little bit too fast during the beginning of the fight. But that second one, completely far away, I think it's just taking a wallet on the Xion, demolishing the Sojourn on the off angle, demolishing the supports, making it so that the Kiriko has to run away, invest Suzu, invest TP, you have no more resources, and the fight is over. A good Xion is able to take some of these flanks, and you cannot contest her. Her dash gives her so much mobility, so much survivability, and the bike, infinite damage. Like, if that thing hits you, it's over, right? So, I really like the Xion ban, especially moving into a map where it's do or die. It's do or die for Goblin Goobers right now. They lose out of the tournament, goodbye. We can reflect on what happens later, but right now, I think it's good that we're getting rid of the Xion. Now, when it comes to Pachisuba, do you ban one of the tanks for Goblin Goobers? Because it seemed like they're most confident on the Ramacha. So in my opinion, the Ramacha ban might be the best one, especially since Zarya is on the table, Maga's on the table, and when you were in the mirror, you were winning the entire time. I think that could be a good strat right there. I don't think any of the supports were a big threat other than Mizuki. But like Mizuki and Kiriko, both teams are playing it, right? So losing access to them might not be the best idea. Either way, lots of things you could do here. IMO, the Ramacha would be a really good. Yeah, the Mizuki, I don't mind it. The Kekai Sanctuary, right, completely shuts down a couple of plays. We saw that especially in King's Row, where some blizzards that should have killed the tank didn't kill them because it just did not deal damage. And again, it enables your Tracer, it enables your Reaper, because they just go on the off angle with like 65% movement speed, run at you, and then you're dead, right? So, good Mitsuki Ben. I don't mind it from Pachisuba. Goblin Goobers, do or die. I'm a little bit scared for them. I really don't want them to go out in like 2 really quick maps, you know?
I mean, like I said, coming from the future, unless something changed, we're headed to map 5. So I am confident that the Goobers can bring it back. I am confident enough in saying that history and the future shows that the Goobers can take this map and tie up our series. The question is, do they believe that they are capable of being able to do this? I mean, we can see a lot of different rotations here in terms of tank play. Obviously, biggest counter to Zarya is using Reinhardt. I know that you were talking a little bit about not using a Junkrat against Zarya, but yeah, if she loses her bubbles, though, she has no defense. Yeah, she has high charge, but it takes a while to burn through Reinhardt's shield. You pair the Rein and the Junkrat, give them a little bit of speed, you can take out that Zarya like it's nobody's business. So it really depends on how Goblin Goobers want to play this out, and we won't know until we get into the map. So we're just kind of waiting on the teams to ready up here. So looking in the chat, see a sad blue whale saying Patchy sweep of doom. We'll see. Currently up 2-0 in the run right now. Started off on a very close loss on Lijiang Tower. But Survasa numbers say that Goblin Goobers should turn it around. So I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, one cannot tell until everything is done, right? And again, big shout out to production, big shout out to the servers, everyone that is able to bring this together. Gotta highlight a couple of swaps coming in, particularly Andrew for taking Wallet, who was on Xion earlier. Andrew, they're hovering to Torb, just put the Soch in the bag. Like, we know you're playing Soch, and that's okay. Alacrity coming in for Punk Space on Goober. So those are our 2 swaps for this map. Big reminder for those that are fans of Goblin Goobers. There you go, Andrew. Thank you very much. TP coming in from Annie and Skin. Now we do have good banners. Something for the Reaper and the Genji. I think the Reaper is going to be a very particular pain point for Tyler if they're not able to shut it down quickly. But Pachisuba gonna have a harder time walking into this DPS line from Goblin Goobers, in my opinion. Point unlocks in 8 seconds. Goblin Goobers, do or die.
Well, they're already making their way in. Barrier up. Tyler looking to create some space as Pachisuba's already taken control of the map, but is now being pushed back by the Nemesis form. Skin looking to see if they can get that finalization onto Pomku. No success, but the control point is in their favor. And there it is, Element with the rail shot onto Funjin without the speed. It's going to be very difficult for them to hold on. Pomku and Andrew, though, able to get some trades in, but it is just not enough right now as we see the bits coming in to eat away at Pomku and Ani. That stagger is going to be rough as we pass the 36 mark.
And we talked about it earlier. The worst kind of loss that you can take is a very long loss, and you lost the point from the beginning, 50% and ticking for a side of Goblin Goobers. Pomku was able to get a lot of value, particularly, again, any long fight is gonna be good for the Zarya. But if you need something, is to bubble Annie in and just give them infinite resources to try and just kill Tyler and force a couple of resources out from Alacrity and Upriser, who are very close to their ults. Annie burning the Wraith already. And how do you even walk into this room? Jack, there's so much damage.
Yeah, it's a really difficult position for them to be in right now. Pomku looking for that opportunity, does have the high charge, but there we go. Nemesis formed as the bubble comes down, immediate pickoff as overtime ticks away. That's dead, done, and dusted. We are going to see the market go into the Goblin Goobers as we head to round 2.
Yeah, I really don't hate it. I can't lie. I enjoy seeing that Pomku and Annie are willing to play the Zarya Reaper, absolute classic comp that we've been seeing for a couple of months now. But how do you walk into them? Again, Element is just shutting you down so efficiently. And the second that Annie set up a bubble, you just gonna get shot, right? Nothing you can really do about it. It's Skin, kind of unkillable, particularly with the dash, with the mobility, with the range that they're able to keep between you. But the grab, incoming, Upriser, no read. This could be a big factor. You have to rotate on the point here.
Yeah, smart play. Honestly, I was a little surprised that Goobers weren't pushing into point themselves. They had enough time to do so. Element able to get that rail shot off from the overclock, finds the pick as the Graviton Surge comes out. Roll the point, already to Pachisuba, but the blade being unleashed. Skin looking for that finalization, but just not able to find it as Alacrity looking to tie things up. Element with the double kill, looking to give Goobers control, and it looks like it will be so. 25% for Pachisuba as it flips to the Goblins.
A little bit better since they spent 2 ults, both of them, so not the best. And again, you lost Graviton Surge. And Jack, I really don't think you can win this point anymore. You're going into Annihilation, and I guess you have beat for it, but what else can you do? Never mind, Annie and Andrew have a couple of ults ready in the bag. Annie getting bubbled, we're going in. I think the Blossom's gonna come any moment now, Jack.
Yeah, I think so. Using the speed to try to gain some momentum. Looking for that positioning of Skin in the back line. Taken out early. Sound barrier invested. I'm looking for that Annihilation, and there it is. Using the Blossom to tear away at the sound barrier investment. Using the Wraith to try to sustain. Can it be enough? Pomku able to find Upriser. Tile it down. Fungin does pay with their lives, but at 75%, Pachisuba take the point back.
In dying early is just so bad right there, right? It seems like they were kind of setting up for a play, but then they're kind of overwhelmed by the bubbles, by the speed, by the sustain from Thieves. It's just so much, and you're already down 1. You invest to beat. I don't think it's the worst because you were able to secure a couple of extra percentage. And look at this, Annie looking for a little bit of a cheeky pick. The bubble coming out to try and force a couple of more resources out, but nothing much else coming from it. Element has to hide, and I don't know if I agree with Tyler running so recklessly on Annie here.
Yeah, we'll see how that ends up working out for them. They're just trying to get their charge up as quickly as possible. Rotation, though, coming. Oh, Oni had to reload. Didn't have enough. That's the position you want to be in. The Kiriko of Alacrity has been having a hard time holding on, and the beam of Pomku does find them and Element as we continue to see Pomku holding on to the objective, takes Tyla out of the fight, and the railgun shot from Andrew locks it down 1-1 as Pachisuba takes the ruins.
I really like what Andrew did there.
Everybody's stretch good.
Using their overclock to just kind of clean up the fight, and I really like it. But again, Tyler walking in so aggressively. Tragic that Annie is not able to get the pick, right? You see it on cam, but it sucks out so many resources, right? It sucks out the amp. There's no more Suzu. Everyone has to like split off. This is the kind of pressure that Saria Reaper is able to bring to the table if they can get in on you, because that seems to be the biggest issue here. 1-1, Goblin, Goobers, Pachisuba neck to neck, and Pomku early grab.
The grab comes out, and there's the rail shot to be able to take them down. Pachisuba looking to lock it down here at the fountain as they start their percentage climb.
Yeah, I'm not the worst. Pomku definitely with one of the biggest grabs we've seen today. Tragic that you lose your percentage. Oh my god, this is the kind of fight that you want to see. Just, we don't have any resources, take a drive fight, get Andrew off the table, take the point back.
Alacrity is not having it, is so tired of being bullied. The Blossom comes out, does the sound barrier. It's enough. They take people out of the fight without their tank. They're going to have such a hard time. The speed allows Annie to get Element, and that's it. 50% in climbing for Pachisuba.
Wow, I really wouldn't have expected them to commit down to the fight. Pomku had enough energy to turn it around, which is very impressive, but well, I think most teams really would have just given the point at that point, Jack, right? Like, you're down 2 people early. Look at that bubble. And again, it's so much pressure. Look at how much damage Tyler's taking just from Annie being up in here. And with so many bubbles, how do you chew through that much HP?
The blade invested now. Fungin doesn't have anything to go with it, as we see the Annihilation also being invested. They got to take this point now, but you got block. 99% though, the team able to clean up the remainder of the objective. Goblin Goobers now taking the fountain in their control.
But you lose Annihilation, and I really don't like the look of that. Having the best Annihilation to just come back into the point is going to hurt you a lot, especially when your only real engage tool is going to be Kitsune. And can you even engage onto this comp? Like, you're going to run into Annie, who's going to put up the wall, and then the bubble is going to hurt you so much. Going into high ground, Pomko looking really, really aggressive. Annie taking a little bit of damage for stabilizing and 50% the ticking. This could be almost last fight if Pachisuba doesn't hurry up.
As we see the Kitsune Rush invested from both sides, looking for those opportunities. As we see the Nemesis forms, overclock from Element, able to clean up the field, finds the triple kill. Pomko is like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm so lost. Team kill. And we're heading into final fight territory. I don't know if they can get back in time without sacrificing something.
I think they might not be able to with Andrew down. I don't know if it's worth trying to commit. It looks like Pachisuba agrees with us because they're not really looking for anything. Annie could have TP'd, but at the end of the day, Goblin Goobers holds it down. The scariest prospect right there is that you have to invest ult in a fight that Pachisuba has nothing on. So really good usage of it, being smart and being like, hey, we just commit one and we win with Element over Clock. But now you're going to this point with Pachisuba up a lot. And we're up at Blossom, up at Overclock, and the Blossom gets nothing though.
Well, that Blossom did not get bubbled soon enough for Upriser to boop that away, showing that Mizuki is not the only play that they are good at. As we see Sound Barrier invested from Upriser. Interestingly enough, the Blade also invested to see if they can get those eliminations. Looking for that follow-up, it's not gonna be enough, but they are able to push them back. They gotta get the point into their control though, so they can earn that percentage.
I mean, I think Skin really didn't need to Blade there. It might come back to bite you. You don't really have anything to threaten Pachisuba with, or is it just Annihilation? So now Funjin only has to hear Annihilation, pop the beat, and you don't really have a way to punish it, right? 24% in ticking, Pachisuba is gonna have a grab, and you have nothing to defend yourself with. This is what is so scary about this point, but it seems like Pachisuba is having a hard time getting past Element and Skin.
Skin, dash, reset, dash, Element gets them low, and we see the sideboard of Ninja cut them down 55% and climbing. Suravasa is Goobers map, and they're not letting it go as we head into final fight.
Though, you never know when they're going to come back, right? 3 ults on the table for the side of Pachisuba. This Annihilation is the only thing they have to worry about. I will say it again, although the Overclock it's definitely not left behind. One bubble down on the side of Pomko and Annie. I just feel like the Reaper hasn't been doing enough on this point. Element getting super low. Do you find the pick?
Oh, Grammaton comes in. Sound Barrier also invested to try to keep Tyler up in the fight, but Annie able to get behind, finds the double kill, looking for the follow-up as the Annihilation is live. You probably wanted to hold on to that. I know that you have control of the point right now, but they invest the Kitsune Rush on top of that at very least. Wait, Tyler, still triple kill. Goobers tie up the series.
Wow, I mean, I really thought there was gonna be another control room moment of Tyler popping ult. It worked. We'll play 2-2, and just like we were saying from the beginning, it's gonna be neck to neck. Pachisuba, Goblin Goobers 2-2. We're going the distance. We're going to map 5, and I just think Pomko overheated so much. They wanted to kill Element so badly, and then you walk into like 5 people. You no longer have any resources other than the ults that were already kind of invested at the beginning. And then nothing to defend yourself against Annihilation. Bubbles are not enough to survive in the long fight. And good recognition by Tyler that they were able to clean it up right there. But a dangerous gambit for sure. Should they lose that point, they wouldn't have gotten it back in time to like guarantee a take on third, right? So risky play, but it gets rewarded.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what they had, right? Like that was the end of the game. Was they either do something now or it doesn't happen? And the fact that Tyler was able to sustain, good on you, tank play. I was impressed to see that. It had to have been, I know we don't have replays, but I would love to go back and watch that. I think we might have seen a Kiri TP just in time, like literally with less than 50 health remaining, able to get in, get that Suzu down, help that sustain just a little bit longer, and that was all they need. If they lost that point, it wouldn't have been over, right? They still had 2 points left to be able to retake that. I think that would have gone to Goobers either way, but just that sheer will of investment bringing it back from what we saw on Lijiang Tower. I'm loving it. I'm loving it for you, Tyler. And now we're heading to Escort to finish things off. So I'm excited to see where these teams are going. Neither team, if I look back at my notes, really has a presence on Escort. We have seen all the good maps that everybody's good at. So I'm a little excited to see what ends up getting chosen and where we end up finding ourselves based on how the teams have been performing. I'm taking a look at the stats right now. Goobers have better luck on Escort, having 1 win on Circuit, 1 win on Watchpoint. Both teams lost on Chambali, and Dorado is also an L for based on at least the data that we have for Pachisuba. So the numbers say it should go in the way of Goblin Goobers. Obviously, we don't have all the data at our fingertips, so we don't know exactly where it should be going. But I don't know. If you were in the driver's seat and could pick where we're going, Biscuit, where would you be taking us?
This is a tough one. Look, if you notice, there's a theme going on in this set, right? Which I don't want to blame anyone, but these teams do not want to play dive. Like, we're avoiding any map where dive is even playable, right? We're just playing the brawl.
Zarya quickly through the team isn't dive? I don't know what you're talking about.
I think it's just so interesting, right? Because all of these map pools, they favor different playstyles, and again, in hybrid, we could have gone like Midtown, where it's like pokey. We could have gone Neon Junction, where it's kind of like that. Numbani for the dive, sim and controls. Push is kind of like always the same. Flashpoint always the same. But moving into Escort, you cannot avoid it anymore, right? We're either going Circuit Royale and Shambali, which is like massive sight lines. We're going to be poking, shooting lots of bullets at you and hoping that you die before the fight even starts. Or we're going into Dorado and Watchpoint, which is very tough. And Shambali, that's what I was going to say. Shambali is the closest to like the more traditional brawl rush that we've been seeing during this set, right?
Yep.
First point, definitely a little bit more unconventional. You're playing into long sightlines. Sigma, a staple pick, which might get banned here. I think it's so interesting. So many characters are allowed back, but most importantly, what do you ban? The Genji was definitely an issue. Skin was doing really good, especially at that last point. Even if the blade didn't do as much as one would have expected. But now, what is the other ban going to? Mizuki is gone. It could be Sigma. I think these players really just want to play Rush and Brawl. So that could be one of the things that we do. But yeah, completely expected to go to Shambali. There was no way that they're playing dive. There was no way that they're playing like sniper stuff in Circuit. Now, the biggest question to me is what you ban. I really don't know what they're gonna ban here. I think they can't ban the Kiriko because that's all they've been playing. You can't ban Mizuki anymore, or Lucio's. And we haven't seen any other supports, right? It's been Lucio, Kiri, Mizuki. So I think it's gonna be a tank. In my opinion, it's either gonna be the Sigma or the Ramatra, I guess.
Could be the Ramatra. I think that we maybe see well, no, because Goblin Goobers were the one that were using it, so they're not gonna ban the best hero. I truly don't know. I think that this is an interesting position to be in. You were talking a lot about long sightlines on Shambali, but if you think about where people typically hold space, it's on first point, it's very early on. If you have enough buddies on the cart to get past that first choke, you're able to get rid of the first long sightline by getting up the hill or getting to the hill. And then it's fight for first point. But the further you go in the map, those sightlines just keep getting longer and longer. So I am intrigued to see how this works out. We have seen the Sojourn working out pretty well. We could see a Sojourn ban. Pachisuba has been doing pretty good with that, but so is Goblin Goobers. So, like, these teams are just well matched. They're just well matched. So trying to figure out what exactly is going to tick, like, do you just throw the ban away, or do you risk it all, like ban the Kiriko maybe, thinking that will throw them off enough, but not you?
I mean, you can't ban Sojourn anymore, right? Because Genji's banned, so it has to be a tank or a support. Yeah, the Sigma, it's what I was talking about. It's probably a Sigma, right? Because we just wanna play Ramatra. Like, I don't know how else to say it. All of the decision process in this round it's like we do not want to change how we're playing. We just want to go back. We just want to play Ramatra mirrors, and then just chill, right? Like it's so. I love that they're so dedicated to running the exact same comp the entire time. So no Sigma. The Zarya didn't work as well as I would have expected, which is a big thing. And also, I like the Genji ban. I think that's one of the only things that is really able to shut Andrew down on the Sojourn. At least during Surabasa. So good ban right there. I think the Sigma, I don't know if they would have gone it, honestly. Both teams are really just playing Ramatra because they like Ramatra and that's it. So I think we could have seen it coming. It's such an interesting question at the beginning, but then it's like, wow, we're gonna go Shambali, we're gonna play Ramatra Mirror, put it in the bag. Moving in 2-2 Jack, 1 round away from finishing our game 5 today. Whoever loses is out.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely gonna be interesting to see. I mean I just wonder if it's a throwaway pick, the Sigma. I get it. You know, you want to take out the potentiality of the poke, but we haven't seen it all night. It's really interesting to see how that shakes out. I'm intrigued to see how this map goes. It is the pick for Pachisuba to come to Shambali, but I'm not for certain rules-wise who gets side first, and that honestly may be the deciding factor. Whoever ended up getting side first might run it down, and it looks like Pachisuba's going to go on the defense to start things off. And
on the
this choice.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Pomku.
We're mixing things up quite a bit going into show.
Yeah, taking Wallet on the taking Wallet coming in for Andrew, by the way. Andrew, our resident Soch player, and he's going to be on the Tracer. Very stable pick. Shion is available, so we might see that later in the set. But honestly, the only thing that seems to be kind of interesting is Fungin and Ana, which, you know, lots of sustain, of course. It means that you're not able to peel as much as you would be able to. You cannot run away from fights as easily as Goblin Goobers might be able to do so. Interesting pick. I really can't tell how it's gonna go because the second Nano's on the table, taking a while, it's gonna get nanoed, Pomku's gonna get nanoed, and then people are gonna die on Goblin Goobers. So I really like it as a more aggressive pick, but I don't know if it really mixes well with your composition. Goblin Goobers already walking up. Reminder: whoever loses is going home. Goblin Goobers pushing the card a good bit, and it seems so hard to contest them right now.
Ooh, couldn't get that finalization boop to get Tyla off, or to get Pomku rather, off that high ground. See the payload moving its way forward. We're not seeing a contest. There we go. Pomku dropping down the low ground. Anti-nade onto Tyla. Try to see if they can find that pick. We see the Suzu coming in, keeping Pomku up in the fight, not able to find those eliminations just yet. And there it is. Element headed to the high ground with Alacrity, finds the kill onto Taken Wallet, and that may be exactly what they need. Skin now cleaning things up. Ani on the Tracer, looking for some follow-up, but no, Elements got it locked down, and that is going to be this first choice. The stagger coming in strong for Fujin and Pomku.
Thankfully, Pomku was able to die on point, so the payload is not going forward as you're still losing. But still, I really think Diana, like, it gives you so much offensive capability. Like, hey, I'm gonna anti Tyler, and then we force out Susu, or we just kill them. But again, without the Lucio, look at how fast we're able to just run at them. And you cannot peek Element. You cannot be doing that.
Yeah, Element is locked in right now. Getting so many eliminations as we see Skin trying to keep Ani off of that rotation. Pomku falls again, and that's objective alpha. I'm not for certain why Taken fed into that. They didn't have numbers. That's rough. That's going to be a long stagger.
I really don't expect them to win anymore, and without your Lucio, how are you even going to get out, right? Skin looking for a little bit of an off angle here, and it's very scary. No one can really check them. Thieves taking a bit of a 1v1 against Elements. Some kunais flying in, but other than that, Goblin Goober just has so much momentum. Just look at how look at their ultimates, and look at Pachisuba. You have nothing. You have nothing to beat them with, other than potentially a pulse bomb, which is not on the table anymore.
Ani again,
and the point of
getting found out. I want to see the Reaper come back. I really think that that's what they need to be able to keep them sustained, because they cannot get on the plank falling incredibly low. Skin, though, able to find Pomku in the trade as we see them pass the 4-minute mark. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think they touch here. I think that's objective Bravo.
Going into second, yeah. I mean, Funjin back on Lucio, yeah, I think we just gotta admit, hey, Diana, interesting pick, but at the end of the day, without your speed, without that consistent movement, you can't really contest. Funjin stepping inside into the point where someone's gonna die here. If you're Goblin Goobers, you gotta kill someone.
You gotta touch. The Kitsune Rush comes in. They're able to take Tyler out of the fight. And there we go. Now we have a little bit of sustainability. Skin pulling back, just barely able to keep things together as Ani. I don't know if they can get out. Nope. They were just a little too low for that bubble to be able to keep them alive to teleport. That's going to be rough. I mean, thankfully they have the closer spawn, but Goblin Goobers are moving quick.
But Uprise is going to be super ready to just try and speed their team back into the point. Annie is basically back. Pomku, a little bit of energy left over after that fight, but Skin just has a beautiful angle.
Oh, okay. Going for the tank duplicate, as we see immediately deleted, though, as we see the overclock coming out from Taken Wallet. Skin, though, able to take Pomku down. The Annihilation invested. Annie able to find a purchase on Skin, but it's not enough. 4 minutes on the clock as the quad team kill comes in for the Goblin Goobers. And now the longest sight line. What are they going to do about stopping this card?
Again, it's all about momentum, right? You started on the Ana, it doesn't pan out, you're behind on beat, you no longer have, you cannot kite it, right? You don't have anything for the ultimates coming up in these next couple of points. It's so hard to match them when, essentially from the beginning of the game, you've been down, right? Annie extremely low, yeah, that TP is just not gonna work, especially when the Lucio is being paired up with Element, who's just completely on fire today.
Yeah, I'm feeling for Pachisuba right now. Like, Ani is trying to get in and do damage, but the hard part about this map is the long sight line. And right now, Element is just locked in, has those sight lines dialed into 11. Taken is not able to fight them, and we're heading into last fight territory. If anybody can touch the sound barrier, comes in, Taken able to take Skin out of the fight, but the overclock in Element able to find Fujin, but it's not going to be enough as we see Taken coming from the side, Tyler out of the fight, and we stabilize once again for Pachisuba.
Some signs of life, but I am still so negative about this game. It just feels like we wouldn't be in this situation if the Lucio was just the first pick. I feel like the beat would have been there for second point, and then you can contest it. Maybe, but honestly, it really feels like it's all stemming from Funjin being on Ana. I really don't like that. Either way, Pachisuba does have 4 ults, and if you're them, what you need right now is to only use 1 per fight and then hopefully stop them with it. The grab is on the table and you cannot walk. Yeah, look at that. Annie putting so much damage on the Skin. Stop the fight here. You need to save every single little bit of resources that you have if you're Pachisuba, if you want even the slightest chance at winning the game. Because Goblin Goobers has nothing to stop your Blossom and nothing to stop your grab, so we have to capitalize on it. Yeah, every fight, Jack, has to be either Blossom or grab. If it's both, it might be over.
We will see. We see the Suzu coming out. Tyler falling incredibly low, gets taken out here. To be honest, I think the thing that I'm worried about right now is seeing Funjin staying so far back. Like, looking at where the supports are right now, like, they're having to speed in to be able to help them. I want to see Funjin in the fight with Pomku and Ani, because that is what is going to create that sustainability. And then if they need the help, teams can TP in and give the Suzu and be able to create that sustainability. But holding on to the objective, we see the Kiriko coming out. Skin finding Fujin as the Graviton comes out, trying to do everything to sustain. Kitsune Rush now coming out. Skin looking to lock it all down. A bunny girl versus the princess, and is not going to be enough for them to lock it down. Pomku and Taken are down. The only one remaining is Teebs, as they are running back just to try to stay alive. We see Funjin getting immediately taken down. Not enough for them to be able to sustain. 44 seconds on the clock. Objective 3 is locked. And I gotta say, looking in the chat, want to give some love to Bowsy. Just got home right before final map started. And as we know, Bowsy is supposed to be on, I believe, Pachisuba's team. So unfortunately not going to get play, and also could be losing out on continuing the run here in the playoffs. So I'm holding hope that something will work out for Pachisuba so Bowsy can keep playing, but the Goobers, they've got it locked down. We have to see Pachisuba return in kind.
It feels like I'm overplaying it, but I really think it's just the Lucio. You didn't go Lucio first, and you're down so much, so you don't even get like the little factor of the Ana pick, which would be, oh, I have Nano, and it basically makes Pomko unstoppable. So you don't stick it, so you don't even get it. Right? Look, oh my god, Teams is going on. I really don't understand it. I feel like, okay, I really think that entire game came down to like 2 fights which were just unwinnable because they have beat. Pomku gets like 5 people in the grab. Let's say he gets everyone. It doesn't matter. The grab is completely shut down by the beat. So in my opinion, I really think we should have gone Lucio from the start. Both teams now showing the Ana, so there's maybe something I don't know. But all I can say is that Goblin Goobers having beaten those fights is definitely what shut down Pachisuba. Pomku on the Zarya, still changing on to the Kree and Reaper. This is going to be a lot harder for Tyler to live in, particularly Skin. Skin on the Echo, you're going to get shot.
Yeah. We'll have to see how things work out here as they're making their way onto the high ground. Pomku able to get the payload, moving past where Tyler was. Right now, Tyler going to the low ground to try to create some sustain, but Ani, having cleared that high ground a little bit, creates some space for Taken. Skin out of the fight right now. Taken able to get the follow-up on Upriser, and there it is. That's the momentum they need. Pachisuba, first fight down, many to go.
I think we were talking about at the beginning was taking a wallet on Kree, making it a lot harder for Skin to live, right? And that's how it started. It starts with Skin dying. GG's, like, what can you do, right? So, being down a fight, good job from Pachisuba, getting the momentum on their side, ult's coming up, but I honestly can tell you just yet, good start, but nothing that tells me just yet that they're going to be able to turn it back as easily.
Yeah, it's definitely going to make things a little difficult. Sports having to pull back due to the disruption, or Pomku, the only one on the objective right now, gets taken out by Ani, though, as we go ahead and see a beautiful TP comes in. Skin able to get the pick, but it's not enough. Objective Alpha as Pachisuba go ahead and make their way up the hill.
Yeah, Pachisuba is really good right now, just brawling up close and making it impossible, making it feel impossible to walk in, right? It's just very interesting that they're able to just kind of create this wall where Tyler hasn't even been able to step in. And Element, even though they're able to poke you a little bit more, McCree a little bit tankier than usual. Same goes for Reaper, right? So taking these close fights, especially in second point Jack, I think it's going to be really challenging for Tyler.
Yeah, Cassidy is providing so much pressure on Skin right now. Going for the double tank, seeing that 6v6 meta coming in a little bit as we see the Blossom invested, able to find some damage. Doesn't take out the duplicate in time, though, and that might be enough. Graviton Surge able to find Fujin in the final moments, and that is going to be it. They invest the Kitsune Rush as well. I would say it's an over investment if Fujin didn't use it as well. So tied up on the speed, but 3 ultimates online. That Graviton Surge ready to go for Pomku, and Annihilation Overclock and Nano.
Gotta say, I think Tyler with Nano is just gonna beat anything that Pachisuba is able to throw their way, right? Maybe if they get shut down by a grab, that is able to catch them, but other than that, I think Goblin Goobers has the upper hand moving into this fight. Either way, Annie holding up close, taking wallet, trying to put a stop to the fight, or like stop to their advance. Annie just walking in, like actually just walking into Element.
Yeah, we see the Annihilation now coming in. Immediately burned down by Teams. And taking wallet gets taken out by Skin, but it doesn't matter. The fight's over. And I don't know if they have the speed to get back. I don't think they get back in time.
No Lucio, right?
They still have grab. Dude, they're not touching.
It's so, I don't know, I really think they should have nanoed Tyler. That would have been the way you win this fight. Either way, the grab is up close, Annie is up close. There's so many factors here. How do you even touch Tyler?
Why are we letting him touch the objective? Why do we let him
nano though?
He gets the nano, taking an Ani, able to find the double, triple kill, on able to take Element out of the fight. The DPS down. That's objective Bravo. Again, that's rough. That's like their steady momentum, right? Pomku and the rest of Pachisuba have been doing well, but
I took it away from dying. Look at that.
Yeah.
playing ring around the rosy, giving a little bit of energy to Pomku, but it's not the end of the world. Pachisuba up a couple of ults, and I think it's wow. I can't believe that they lost with Nano Annihilation. Goblin Goobers swapping over to the beat, but they won't be able to get it in time, IMO.
Well, to be fair, they didn't have Nano Annihilation because they used Annihilation the previous fight. Kiriko coming out for the duplicate of skin. The
oh my god!
Coming in, finds Element. Alacrity and Tyla soon to follow. As we see Taken just cleaning up that high ground, has the Deadeye online if necessary. Skin just cannot sustain 3 minutes on the clock. And I do not think they touch. As we see the Shion coming out to be able to touch the objective, it's not enough. 307 for Pachisuba as Goblin Goobers get up to a minute remaining once again.
Believe it or not, in the BPL broadcast, we've seen teams go from 0 minutes to overtime the whole way up to third, and teams with 5 minutes just completely get stomped in the first point. So this is not the end, but definitely a tall hill to climb if you're Goblin Goobers. We're going to be now on defense. Very interesting. I mean, I really, in that fight, the first, the fight before Tyler touches like desperately, right? They get something to kind of go in.
Yep.
They had Nano Annihilation. I feel like you have to open with that. I really think it's your win condition. We both know that the game is going to come down to who gets the better Nano. Like, who's going to have the most value out of, like, just turning their tank into a nuclear bomb or the DPS into a nuclear bomb. And just not giving it to Tyler instantly, I feel like it's a huge misplay from Goblin Goobers, which leads to you swapping to Lucio, which leads to having the most expensive ultimate in the game so you cannot get it in time. And at that point, you stick the Ana. Honestly, just take your damage, take your antis to hopefully shut down Pomku and someone else. And most importantly, I think this Kree is really hurting Goblin Goobers, right? Skin not able to play the same angles that they were able to before. Soj, while a hit scan, still not as traditional and as instant as Kree. Right? So it's just so tough for Goblin Goobers. I feel like this comp change is really catching them off guard. The nade flies, 50 seconds. Will they be able to do it? And what an opener! Oh. Wow! I mean, this is honest Overwatch. Reaper bubble on your backline, and I'm out.
I mean, like you said, taking on this Cassidy has been absolutely monstrous. And the fact that we're still seeing Skin coming out on this Echo, I think is a huge misplay. But with Genji banned, there's not a lot that they can do about it. Pumku and Fujin just push in, and that's half the time been gone.
Yeah, and Annie's already playing up here. You have to find a way to force them out, but you don't really have the damage, right? Element really needs to be up far away, but you're right next to them. Look at this, so much damage gonna be incoming to Tyler the bubble, keeping them safe. You're so low. If you're the tank now, Skin is 1 HP. Jack, it's looking rough.
Yeah, it's a very bad position. The corner taken, and Ani finding the double kill, and that's it. Overtime ticks down, and Goblin Goobers have no response. What? No. Don't tell me we're looking to double up on Sky Princesses here.
Extra kill, by the way. Extra kill, by the way.
Oh.
All I gotta say, Bowsy might get to play the next match instead of being eliminated while at work. Bowsy, God bless you. You came back late, but you might get to see your team win. Goblin, I really don't want to call it because, again, we've seen crazier things. We've always seen crazier things. There's a world where Pachisuba gets completely spawned out, like they don't even make it out the door. But in that same sense, oh my God, we're just locking in whatever. We're just wow. That's a comp. That's a comp for sure.
To be fair, Pachisuba has plenty of time. They got time to play around with what works, right? Goblin Goobers are the ones that I'm worried about right now. I think Tyler, good pick with what's getting ready to come out of those doors. I like Skin swapping over to the May. I would have loved to have seen that a little earlier, I think.
Yeah, honestly.
Get off that Echo. It was not doing well against Taken, but Taken on this Widow.
The Echo just did so little.
We got Cat too? Oh, yeah, no.
Cat Mercy, that's what we're doing
tell
today.
me that this is what we're doing. We're not ending it with AC 130, are we?
This is what we're doing. We just need one pick. If you get one pick and you're Pachisuba, you just win. Right? Like, it's what it is. Uh-oh. Eddie. What more? AC 130? Oh my god, they're dead. Oh my god, they're dead.
No. Not able to find purchase, unfortunately. But so far, Annie now has control of the high ground. They got them pincered in between. There's something to by Top Riser. Annie does go down. The takes down. Fucking able to fight Tyler. Fight to the rest of the team. They have to touch the objective. Somebody's got to get there. 3, 2, 1. 51 wins the match. Pachisuba moving on in the championship bracket.
Wow, I mean, they really just said that we need to win one fight, and they won one fight. Well, it's so sad for Goblin Goobers because their attack was so good. It's just the Echo. Holding on to Echo, I feel like wasn't the play. It was getting some value, but you were getting shot left and right, and it hurts you so much. Either way, a tough set. It's really hard to tell, like, one team was completely worse than the other. Like, they were both head-to-head. Pachisuba able to get the best out of it in the end, but wow, I mean, that was really good from Pachisuba. I like that they were able to adapt because that defense really was a little bit demoralizing, but moving into attack was just completely unstoppable.
But I mean, to be completely honest, that was what was afforded them, right? And you know, I talk about this a lot with folks that play games like Overwatch that are designed to be valuable, right? That you can swap, you can make changes on the fly to be able to adjust properly. And like, we just saw a little bit more flexibility from Pachisuba. Once we saw Taken on that Cassidy, it was over because I don't know if it was stubbornness, I don't know if it was strategy, or maybe it was just locked. I don't know what Skin's pool is. Is Skin's pool Genji Echo? Because if that's it, then I guess you're kind of stuck, right? Because Genji was banned last round. So it stinks. It stinks to see. We do have an MVP to decide, and Biscuit, I'm gonna leave it to you as the analyst to decide first, because there were just, like, it was back and forth. There were so many good plays, so much good positioning, so much good planning on both sides.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think we need to talk too much about MVP, right? Because he just has to be taken wallet, in my opinion. Was absolutely dominating. Like, the class swap, I think you have to give it so much. Like, it's not like we are taking the credit off of the Ana swap, right? Which I wasn't a big fan of. Ana did work, thankfully, on attack. But I think the Kree was shutting down the DPS on an enemy team so badly. It was honestly really hard to argue that Kree wasn't one of the bigger factors that they were able to win third map. And that is only third map. You gotta remember how Runasapi even happened with Taken Wallet dominating on the Shion. Just a very consistent presence and able to shut that. Doing what a DPS does, just making it really hard to walk. Like, remember first map, right? You can't even cross because you're getting shot, and it hurts you so much. Taken Wallet, congratulations for being our MVP of the night. But Jack, I think we just had a great game today. We had a very exciting game today.
Well, I mean, it's like I told you, I had just gotten back from the future. I said it was going to be a map fiver, and I was hoping I didn't step on a butterfly or something along the way, and it looks like everything turned out exactly the way it was supposed to. Pachisuba moving on to lower bracket round 2, looking to face off against the loser of Free Fall versus Yatagarasu. So it looks like that match is going to be coming up tomorrow at 7:30. We also have Elvish Soul Knife versus Chosen going on tomorrow at 8 p.m. and Demonetized versus Eternal X at 8:30. So look like we're
Lots of
going to be
games
busy with a
tomorrow.
lot of Overwatch tomorrow, folks. So if you
Yeah.
haven't already, be sure to hit that follow button, smash that bell so you get notified when we're online, so you don't have to remember those times. We're waiting to see if maybe we've got an exit interview. Looks like we do have two folks from the side of Goblin Goobers as they bring them in right now. Hello, Punk Space and Tyla. How are we doing?
Pretty good.
It was rough, but it was well fought. You all did an amazing job. I mean, how are you feeling? You left it all on the table. We could see it from the plays.
Yeah.
You want to go first, Punks?
Sure, I will. I feel like that game could have gone either way. We played against Pachisuba like multiple times. In kickoffs, even they were the team that we played against. We played against them in scrims, and like either times, it seems like one team just has an advantage depending on the day. So we knew it was gonna just fall down to how people were playing, and then that was the chips were gonna fall as they may. But I think everyone put their best effort in, and as their captain, I am proud.
Absolutely. Biscuit, I'll leave it to you to ask some analyzing questions.
Oh, I agree. I think it was a very exciting match. We were saying it the whole time, right? As you guys are going head to head. One thing that I'm curious about is the echo on. I feel like why echo on what's called Shambali? Is that not a little bit like what is the because we were talking a lot about like, oh, you know, these DPS are going with this, but like I think the echo is just a little bit of a interesting pick. No, I'm very curious about it.
Yeah, I think sometimes in general our team doesn't always play like the most optimal pick. I think it's better for people to play what they're comfortable on rather than to play like what's necessarily the most synergistic comp. And so I think that the Echo pick was just more of a comfort pick than anything else, especially because I think Skin's first choice of DPS is normally Genji, which they banned, which Pachisuba banned that map.
Yeah.
We were saying that the ban was another one of those things. But as the captain for Goblin Goobers, I don't think I recognize the name. I don't know if you're a newcomer. You have any words for your team? Any thoughts on your season now that it's ended?
We played a lot better than I thought we were gonna play because I've never captained before, and this is my first BPL event. I played in KL last season, but like that's it. That's my extent of like experience. So like I've never done this before, and in drafting, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. But I actually like
a lot.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with like what happened, like how people performed, and like in general, I think people just improved a lot. Like we practiced a lot, we vodded a lot. Like I think Element went from like Diamond 3 to like M1, you know? So like I think at the end of the day, like the competition, not really for money, you know? There's no prize pool. It's just bragging rights. And I think it's more important just to work on like improving as a player. And I feel like every single one of the people on my team improved as a player. And so like that is what makes me happy.
Yeah, no, I think you guys had again, unfortunate loss, but I'm really happy that you guys were able to go off on like a very fun game to watch, very fun game to cast, and I hope you guys had a lot of fun playing as well. So thank you very much for showing up. Sad to see you all go, but it's also very cool that you guys were able to put it all on the table and that you leave satisfied with your team, right? That's what it's all about.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean the great thing about it is that just because the season's over doesn't mean the next season won't come around. I mean, you know, we'll be doing this again in the near future, and now you've got an idea of how it looks going into the next season if you want to keep captaining. Tyla, I gotta say, love the tank play, love the redeeming on Surabasa from Lijiang Tower. We saw the oof of the Ramatra ult on Lijiang Tower control center, and then bringing it right back on Surabasa to win you that map. Very impressed with your tank play. Tell me a little bit about how that was in the room, kind of how that was curated, and using the ultimate because you still had the full point, and you would have had a second point after that as well. What was the trigger? What was the like, no, we can finish this right here, right now?
I think I can speak for like 90% of the tank players ever. I don't think at all. I just kind of did it. Like, I feel like my team has kind of had to like put reins on me the entire time because I don't tend to just like I tend to just walk.
W.
I would say I am a Mauga player, and it's very unfortunate that all Pachisuba plays is Zarya Reaper because I really wanted to play Mauga, but it was just not gonna work for this time. But yeah, I don't know. I just press buttons and shoot at the colors.
Yep. No, I totally and we saw that a couple of different times. You know, some very successful, some not so successful.
Yeah.
I got one more question before we give you a chance to shout folks out, and we'll leave you to your evening. But I did have a one question about Runasapi. Looking at the record, Goblin Goobers have really struggled with push this season.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a, you know, we'll take it as it comes and we'll get them on Flashpoint, or were we trying to leave everything on the table to try to see if we could overcome the 1 and 4 on push maps?
You answer that, Tyler.
I don't think there's ever not a moment where we're like, okay, well, we have Flashpoint up next after this. Let's just like do whatever for push. I think we're always trying on push. We just kind of fall apart, and push is a very, very snowball game mode. I hate push with a passion. Hate that map. Any push map ever. And so like in my mind, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try. We get in there, I immediately blow up, and I'm like, well, you know what? Might as well just
next.
Let's just try and, you know, keep the mental from not imploding. Let's go into Flashpoint. And we did that. We went into Flashpoint, and we just dominated.
That's exactly what I was talking about, Biscuit. Keep that mental. That's important. That even if you know if it's not shaking out your way, you got the mental that moves you forward. And I mean, y'all took it to the limit, right? Like, took it to map 5. We went into extra rounds. Like, it was a rough extra rounds because you had to fight AC 130, which who expects that? Right? this isn't OWCS, right? So you did the best with what you all done. We're so proud of the work that you and the rest of the team have done. We want to give you a chance to shout anybody out, friends, family, fellow teammates, whatnot. We'll go ahead and start with Tyla and then with Punk Space.
I want to shout out Element, our main hit scan player. My goat.
Yes.
Love that guy. He kind of like carried the team, I'm not gonna lie. Skin as well. But honestly, our DPS line was just kind of insane. It's like our main backbone of the entire team, I feel like. Trying to think of anyone else that I want to shout out. I think that's it.
Yeah, Elemental on that Sojourn, especially on Shambali. Woo, dialed in.
Me and him have chemistry. We've played on teams before together, so I was very happy that I got drafted with him.
Awesome. Punk Space, anything else you would like to shout out?
I will shout out, actually, I'll shout out Tyla, who's obviously right here. But I feel like he's really improved a lot. Like, I had no clue what I was doing in the draft, and I was I knew of Skin before. That's the reason why I drafted her. And Alacrity's a friend of mine. But for my tank lineup, I had no clue who either of them were, and I was really nervous about how they would perform, especially because they were both rookies. You know, our first couple of scrims with Tyla were a little bit rough as we were all trying to get to know each other as a team. But I think he's gotten a lot better, and I think he'll just continue to improve. And I'm also going to shout out my other flex support, Alacrity. Anytime that I wasn't in the game and that she was in, I was never worried about the team. I knew she was going to hold it down. So I just think, yeah, I feel like everyone on my team just surprised me with how well they played.
Yeah, I mean, y'all left it out on the table. I do want to give a little extra shout out to Alacrity as well. Getting domed multiple times by the other Kiriko is not a great way to start the match, but they were able to turn it right back around as things kept going. So we love, again, positive mental attitude wins games, and we love to see it. So thank you two so much for your time. We appreciate you all being here.
Yes.
We're going to let you go to enjoy the rest of the evening and look forward to watching out the rest of the season.
All right, thank you.
you.
Of course. Biscuit, what a banger of a match
No,
tonight.
absolutely. I gotta say it again.
Banger.
It was very exciting. Honestly, going in, it's like, hey, that first game is all I needed to know. It's like I see the game and it's like 99, 99, 99. It's like, wow, we're in for like a long one. And you know, the nice thing is to see that everyone was pretty happy with how they performed, pretty happy with just their teams, right? It's all about having fun, adapting. Goblin Goobers finishes 8th. Sadly, we won't get to see them anymore, but a roster that surprised me for sure. Again, people that I don't really know. Especially since I've been here for like a couple of years already, but still all of them played really well, and it just came down to a couple of mistakes, right? Just a couple of little things that they are small, but still they're gonna cost you regardless. Congratulations to Goblin Goobers for making it this far in the season. Congratulations to Pachisuba for winning. And now let's take a look at the matches that we have tomorrow, because we just had a banger today, but that doesn't mean that we won't have any later. We have a lot. We only had one today.
Packed.
You know, Sunday's super packed. And the most important part is that a lot of these are basically at the same time. Like, the only game that can really happen like without another game happening at the same time is like Hidden King versus Blue Rose. But even then, whatever monitors you have, however many devices you have at your home, tune into BPL. Tune into some of the off-stream matches because there's a lot at stake here. Reminder: we are in playoffs now, so every match matters more than ever. So tune in tomorrow to see and find out who's gonna be making it as far as they can in the tournament.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the greatest things to know about here in the playoffs is that records during the regular season at the end of the day really don't matter. Like, it provides placement, but you never know how a team's gonna do until they are there. And we saw that tonight. Goblin Goobers, Pachisuba laying it all out on the field to prevent one of them from elimination. Pachisuba moving on, but Goblin Goobers, be proud of the work you've done. All right, that was an amazing way to play. Again, couple little slip-ups, but that's how we improve. We get better. We come back next season. We do it again. I think we see Goblin Goobers take it all the way next time. Big shout out to our production team doing all the amazing work that they do to make sure that we look beautiful and the teams look beautiful and all of this looks beautiful for you all to enjoy. So be sure to come right back here. We'll let you know what matches are scheduled for tomorrow. We've been having some conflicts with schools starting up and end of summer, all that jazz. We gotta make sure people have availability. So hang tough. But if you can watch them off stream, take a watch. Be sure to come back here tomorrow for more amazing Overwatch coverage. Biscuit, anything else before I sign us off?
That's it for me. Thank you very much for casting with me, Jack. Congratulations to Pachisuba. And let's see how far they make it in the bracket. Otherwise, we'll see you all next time. Take care.
All right. Bye.